Yeah, let's talk about Wasps. Goody.
Oh, don't worry. The suite was ram-packed. 26,000 at the game. You said 26,000 on your Instagram story. Was there 6,000 or 26 people?
26,000 in the stadium.
Some fans are
560 covers in the Andy Good suite.
Got no fans.
Some fans that were there are calling for Di Young to be sacked. Goody.
Ridiculous.
Why?
The facts are okay. So we're talking finances. We've just spoken again about Saracens.
No, we're not talking finances. We're talking on the field.
Yeah, we're talking finance. Yeah, so
but
so part of on the field is finances of a club,
Yeah,
which Wasps are spending nowhere near the salary cap this year.
Well, that's
They've got
up to
to
them,
reduce
Is
though.
that
it.
because they're in financial trouble?
No,
No,
because
that's because the Andy Goose suite's ram-packed.
well, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, but this has got nothing to do with salaries. This is a completely different
I'm not
thing
saying it's
now.
got anything to do with Saracens.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying
you're talking about
well,
salaries.
so Saracens have won the Premiership for the last 3 years because they've
Yeah.
broken the salary cap.
Yeah.
They've had the best squad.
And Wasps are nowhere near that. Well, they were top 4, but
Let's have this discussion about Wasps without mentioning Sarries at all.
Because it's all comparable. So Wasps are a club. So take Saracens as a club. They're losing a boatload of money. They're breaking the salary cap, but they're winning things. Okay, so Wasps as a club had a load of superstars in there. They were spending up to the salary cap, and I think they spent 20 grand over it or something 1 year because they got caught, and it was an administrative error. And
or one of those, was it?
Well, it was.
But
like,
also
it was
compared to the
20 grand.
rest of the team.
But
Bristol
hold on.
was a good comparison, I think.
So we're talking about it. So they wanted the owner, Derek Richardson, wanted to win the Premiership, and if it wasn't for Nathan Hughes giving a seriously stupid penalty away with 30 seconds to go of the game against Exeter in the final, they'd have won the Premiership. And then since then, you're looking at a club where Derek Richardson, the owner, is just putting money in to keep it afloat. Because every club, we've said it on here before, 50 million quid was lost collectively by the Premiership clubs last year as businesses. So Derek has got the right as the owner to see what he's putting in as the owner to balance the books, and he wants to trim money away from the wages, from things around the club, to make it more sustainable for him. And with that, guess what? The quality of the squad's dropped. We've lost Villy LaRue. We've lost Elliot Daly to a lot more money at Saracens. There's a number of players that have gone. So you're looking at the squad quality now, and I've said it, that the squad this year, in terms of numbers and quality, isn't as good as it has been over the last few years. And that's because they're not spending up to the salary cap.
Well, that shows so they've got no ambition then.
It's not ambition, mate. It's an owner that's now sort of saying, he's however much Derek Richardson's put in, I don't know how much he's put in, but for every club that's losing money, someone at Bath, there's Bruce Craig, he's funding the loss.
But that's sport. That's what sport is.
But all right, Jim. So you're going to put in if you've got exactly. So
no, I would never do that.
So the owner has the right.
Yeah, of course.
Whether he wants to put in 10 million quid or 6 million quid or 4 million quid, however much he wants to do, that's his prerogative.
So the Wasps need a new owner.
Absolutely not.
Clearly. Well, they do.
Well, why do they need a new owner?
Because they're going to get relegated. So if you hang on, let me talk. So if you've got an owner that doesn't want to put money in, so therefore
doesn't want to put as much as he has done.
Okay, so he doesn't want to put the money in that needs to have a successful team. Then that shows there's a lack of ambition. Does that make him a bad person? No. But in order, this is what sport is. It costs money, and to be a successful rugby team, you've got to spend money that you're not going to make back because commercially it's not viable. So what's cut back?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, an owner gets into it knowing that he's going to lose money.
Of course,
but he also has the right to dictate how much he puts in.
Absolutely.
And
of course.
Would I want Wasps to have Derek as the owner and Derek to put in 100 million quid a year so we win everything? Oh, of course you would as a Wasps fan. But there's a pipe dream and there's reality of what the owner, and when you are, every Premiership club pretty much is relying on one benefactor to keep them afloat.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden, if a Bruce Craig, if a Derek Richardson, if what's the Bristol owner called again? Steve
Lansdowne, yeah.
If Steve Lansdowne at Bristol, if they want to just take their money out, the club goes bust. Yeah. Or you have to find someone else with a load of money to put in. The Sale owner, Simon Orange, said, there's a load of idiots like himself pumping money in, keeping a club afloat.
All I do each night is pray.
Well, it's his brother.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the thing. You're relying on someone spending all their hard-earned money, or some of their hard-earned money, knowing they're not getting a return for it.
That isn't my point, though. I completely
What's
get
your point?
That. So Wasps haven't. So by him pulling back and not putting the money in, which is ridiculous anyway.
He is putting money in. He's just putting less in.
Okay, so putting less in. So that shows
and trying to make the club more sustainable.
But
and we want the club. You want the club to be there in 30, 40
But you've
years.
only got 6 points.
I think we've got more than that, haven't we? I think we've got 7.
Okay, so mate, we'll keep it in there. Like from what I've seen, like so. That's what I'm saying. This isn't me having a go at him. This is me from the outside looking in, and you're naturally the same way I was with Saracens are going to support them.
I'm realistic as well.
Yeah, but you're realistic. But they're diabolical on the pitch.
I wouldn't say they're diabolical,
mate. You lost to London Irish in the first game of the season.
That was a poor performance. On Saturday, we were 17-0 up, playing some really good rugby, and then we get given us a couple of soft tries. Harlequins then take control of the game. Their driving game was good. We had a couple of opportunities at the end to win it. I saw Wayne Barnes on Sunday. Elia rips the ball out of a ruck, changes bind. Barnesy didn't see it. Could have been a penalty. Fine margins. But Wasps are where they are because where the squad is. That's what I've said. They've got a smaller squad with less quality. And
so they've got no ambition then. So that's what I'm saying.
It depends what you define ambition. Of course, everyone goes into every season wanting to win the Premiership.
Or be in Europe.
But the reality is there's 12 clubs trying to do the same thing. And if you ask Di Young, would he want the squad he's got now or the squad he had 4 years ago? He'd take the squad he had 4 years ago.
But there's a big difference, though, isn't there, mate? You lost to Edinburgh back to back,
and
I'm
trying to work out what your point is.
My point is Wasps have fallen off.
They have, yeah.
Cliff.
I'm not denying that.
My point is we're talking about Di Young getting the sack. I'm not calling for people to get the sack, but Wasps. Okay, so he's taken the money out. So therefore,
he's not taking the money out. He's not willing to lose as much money as he has done over the last few years.
So therefore, he, as an owner, is surely happy with where they are in the league then.
Well, you're never happy
because that's a concept. Well, how do you expect any more then? I don't get how you lose that quality in your squad. How you expect at all to be competing with anyone really?
Well, in reality, you can't compete with Saracens because they're breaking the salary cap.
Or Bristol, or London Irish.
If you are going to compete with the other clubs,
you're competing with
who? And that's so where's the level? When you look at Wasps, where's their level?
Well, do you need to be putting in the same amount of money?
Well, the Exeter are the best club this year. In reality, when you look at the squad, Saracens obviously got a ridiculous squad because they don't stick to the salary cap.
Yeah.
And then you actually look at all the other clubs, and Wasps there's a whole bunch of clubs in the middle there that Wasps are underachieving at the minute. Worcester are overachieving. London Irish are in a position that are above them. They've won games that, they beat Wasps in the first game of the season. Wasps will see that as a massive, sort of a bad day at the office for them. So that's sport, though. You have teams that you think are going to win games and they don't win games. I don't think you can question someone's ambition. There's ambition of starting a Premiership season and everyone wants to win it. But there's a reality of trying to keep a club from just relying on one person putting in millions and millions and millions of quid to keep it afloat, and actually looking at the business model and trying to make the business model more sustainable. And you're not going to win the Premiership by doing that yet, but you make the business model more sustainable, and then he's not putting in as much money that he's losing, and then you hope that the business can grow off the back of it with different parts of it, which can then go back into the playing squad.
Well, like I said before, I want Wasps to stay up. I don't want them to get relegated. I think
exactly.
But I'm asking the question because of the statements you are positioning to the masses. That's all. Like you're looking at Di Young. Of course, we don't want him to.
I ain't going to hide from the fact that Wasps are where they are. We're underachieving, underperforming. And so with that comes question marks. With that, look at Leicester, same question marks coming of it. And you look at that Leicester team at the weekend, and they look, you've got internationals galore in there. Wasps don't necessarily have that. London Irish, I commentated on them yesterday. They were shambolic at times. Look, Worcester on Friday night. We talked about them on here the other week, and I'm like, the league at the minute isn't where you think it should be. And people are like, Worcester couldn't make top 4, top 6. They got hosed. They could have been done by 60 points by Gloucester on Friday night. So you go week by week and you can make sweeping statements. Wasps are not in a great position at the minute, both on the field in terms of results, and when you look at what they're trying to do as a club, in terms of the finances, they're trying to reshape how the club is sitting financially.
Can you apologise for hashtag always Adam repeating them back to back, which I say?
Oh, mate, you got a penalty towards the end.
I mean,
it was a 9-7.
Can you?
Are we going back to that or what?
Edinburgh second team.
Well, let's go back to what you've done wrong on this podcast then, James.
What have I done?
Well, you caused a massive fight between Munster, the Doctor, and Saracens players.
Why?
Well, I've got it on good authority that the Munster Doctor listens to this podcast. And because you called me fat and obese and morbidly obese and why so fat, look at your tits and all this stuff, he's taken that as that's all right in Ruggers, and he's gone after Jamie George and said the same things to him.
Mate.
And the big fight erupts. So are you going to apologise for what you've said on this podcast, James?
This world does not like honesty. Whatever that Munster man has said to Jamie that involves weight, how can you argue? I mean, how can he argue? Jamie, it's maybe the context that he said. We don't know. There's talks of him saying that they're cheating. If he's called him fat, you can't say fat. If he said morbidly obese, fine.
I don't think you can say that either, but
Of
anyway.
course you can. So who's going down, Goody?
London Irish.
You're horrible.
Well, someone's got to go down.
Man, I tell you now, I'm looking at it now. Look, London Irish's performance, you might not be far wrong, big fella.